Hello guys and welcome to the video number 1 of the week number 6 of our course. Hope everything is doing really well these days and hope that any difficult situation that you may have is going on as well as possible, being overcome and being better little by little. Well, my friends, I want to remind you before we start the fact that this is the week number 6, as I announced at the beginning, meaning that we have only 2 weeks until the evaluation. Well, this one and the next one, the week number 7. So I would strongly recommend, guys, that you revise your previous assignments, the concepts, well, everything that you have advanced in the class, because it's going to be very necessary that you have a really clear idea of everything that's in the class in order to face the evaluation successfully, right? So it will be good if you revise, check your notes, check the former videos, and well, all these different things that we have covered. Also, if by any chance you require some advisory, clarification, a session in which we can shortly revise some of the things that we have done, well, that's important, okay? The other thing is the book. Well, you have seen that the book has been really necessary for many of the sessions that we have covered so far. Well, especially for the test, it will be necessary as well, so I would recommend that you read it. If you haven't advanced so far, well, advance a little bit more. It is the half of the semester, so I would be expecting, guys, that you read already by the time of the evaluation half of the book. Okay, so that's pretty important. Anyway, guys, I'm available for you if you require anything additional or anything for the exam or just for the assignments. Well, do that. I would strongly recommend you do not, let's say, let yourself be in a hurry to present the exam. Well, so guys, as usual, I would like to start the class by sharing with you a little poem. This time is a poem by Alfonsina Storni, and this one's called Oveja Descarriada. Oveja descarriada, dijeron por ahí. Oveja descarriada, los hombros encogí. En verdad descarriada, que a los bosques salí, estrellas de los cielos en los bosques pasí. En verdad descarriada, que el oro que cogí, no me duró en las manos y a cualquiera lo di. En verdad descarriada, que tuve para mí, el oro de los cielos por cosa baladí. En verdad descarriada, que estoy de paso aquí. Well, I really like this poem because I think that, well, as a woman, in the time that she had to live, writing words like this was really polemic, right? She was doing certain things that were not expected from her in her condition of a woman. Back then, women were supposed to, just stay at home, get married, raise the kids, and not doing all this adventurous life and writing, especially poetry that is not necessarily well considered, well regarded. So for a woman, this was even worse. So this poem is about these sometimes appearances that we're forced to keep, to maintain, because other people expect things from us, right? Like they expect us to act in a certain way, to do certain things, to behave in different ways. But well, life is short. So sometimes it's better to do what you want under the limits of responsibility, but do what you really feel passionate about instead of trying to satisfy other people. Probably that will feel better at the end of your days if we at least try to do our thing. Okay? Well, interesting poem. Hopefully you have enjoyed it as well. This week we are going to, as I mentioned in the last session, we're going to do some practice, let's say a combinatory practice of what we have covered so far. Let's say that it's pretty specific, the descriptive text and the narrative ones. We have already covered like different times kinds or devices of descriptions, physical ones, the intangible ones. Then we talk about narration and the components of narration, and we deal with the internal structure of narrative sequence, which is important, and well, all of that, right? So this week as well, we're going to do some practice of this. Like, we learned all the theory, we did some isolated exercises, so we're going to try to combine some different things, right? So first of all, we are going to have this exercise for the assignment number 1 of this week, which is going to focus mostly on the narration, okay? So if you go to the assignment number 1, if you need to stop the video for a second to pause it and go over there, in the assignment number 1 you are going to find a file. Yes, it's attached over there to the post. So please download that, have it available in your computer, in your cell phone, and we're going to work with it. Okay. So this is some sort of a chart, like an instrument that we're going to use in order to describe something intangible that is going to help us, like, to elaborate certain things, right? So if you can see, this is a document that talks about love. Yes, one of the most intangible and difficult and mutable and changeable thing that may experience human being, right? That is love. So this instrument has, like, this intention of helping you describing certain things in a better way. Sometimes when we deal with intangible things, it's a little bit difficult. Also remember this vocabulary that I provided you some weeks ago, I think, for expressing emotions, feelings, and tone, right? It might be useful as well if you want to use it. Okay, so let's analyze one by one the questions that we have over there. It says the number 1 is, which of the following statements comes closest to your ideas of what love is, right? So with the ones that we have over there, yes, which one is the one that you think that is closest to your personal opinion? If you think that there are 2, 3 more, all, well, tick all of them. Just put an X or put a tick in there, right? So we have a lot of different things, right? There may be positive or negative, and according to your experience in love, you can put one, the other, or both. Yes? Let's take a look at the first 2, for example. It says, love is a paradise. So it's an analogy, no? So something really good, really nice, something you can experience and feel pleasure, feel motivated, feel somehow closer to a higher state of consciousness. So it's paradise, right? But then the next one, it's the complete opposite. No, it says love is hell. So love is suffering. Love is something really bad. Love is something that causes to make us feel not so good, to feel that we are condemned, to feel that we are somehow being punished. Right? It's a possibility. Sometimes it may also happen. And then we have all these different things. All of them are sort of analogies, right? They compare it to disease, to religion, to fire, to war, and even there is a final one that says love is an ephemeral nonsense, right? Like something that has no sense and is not really important. So we have all those different things. I would invite you just to take one or the other, or more than one, and the final one said love is, and there's a line over there. So I'm going to ask you, please, to write an additional category, or to add an additional category of your own. Now, what do you have to do? It's not necessary to print this and send it to me, or to rewrite it again and send it to me, like showing me your selection. No, it's not necessary. Not necessary. Just do it as an exercise for yourself. If you want to write it down, or you want to do it mentally, or whatever, that's it. Okay. For now, that's the only thing you have to do. Now let's take a look at the number 2. It says, how important, how valuable is it for you? Which of the following sentences come closest to your opinion? So how valuable is love for you? It might be very valuable, like a treasure, something really, really, really important. It may be, have let's say, a middle place in your priorities. Yes, you think it's important, but you think there are other important things, such as money, I don't know, or maybe success in academics, in your professional field. I don't know, right? Maybe that, or maybe something completely out of your priorities is not there at all. So again, you have some different options. It says the most important thing, the only valuable thing in the world. It puts it on the top of everything. And then if we take a look at the third one, for example, it says a mixed blessing. A blessing is something good, something that it's supposed to be given by God or by a superior entity. But if it says mixed, it means that it has good and bad things, no? So that's it. Read the other options, take a look at them, and select one or select more than one, as long as you think they are compatible, right? Because if for example, you select opposing things, it wouldn't be so good. No? Well, it really depends on your opinion. Okay, so that is the number 2. Then we have the next one. It says, if you love someone, what would you be most likely to compare him or her to? So let's imagine that you love somebody. Again, something that maybe I did not clarify at the beginning, and it might be a good idea to do it right now, is that we're talking about all kinds of love. Yes, probably the first one that you can think of is romantic love, or the love that you have for a couple, for a boyfriend, a girlfriend, husband, wife, something like that. But then again, it can be filial love, the one that you feel for your mother, your father, your sister, brothers. Love for a friend, love for a discipline, different kinds of love, right? So if you love this person and you would like to compare this person to something, yes, so would you compare him or her to what? And then we have again different options: a flower, a bird, another animal, yes, a celestial body such as a star, the sun, the moon, I don't know, a comet, different things, right? A part of nature, you would compare him or her again to a flower, to a tree, to wind, to a stream of water that is refreshing or calm, or to the sea. Well, I don't know, right? There are different things that you can do in there. Or again, there's a category that says something else, something different. So you simply are going to select one of those, and please, over here as well, you are going to add something of your own creation. Okay, that's it. Basically, that's what you're going to do in the number 3. Then in the number 4 and the number 5, 4 and 5, you will see, are more or less the same. The thing is that they are reversed. So let's take a look at the number 4, and then we will go shortly over the number 5. The number 4 says, if a man loves a woman, this is how he behaves, right? So when a guy loves a girl, this is how he behaves, no? So writes poems to her, sends her flowers and gifts, weeps and sighs if she doesn't respond, like he suffers and feels nostalgic and depressed because he or she doesn't respond or doesn't correspond. It acts in a manly, masterful way, like he pretends to be, really in control of the situation, really in control of these different things. Conceals his love, like he hides his love, right? Or there is a space for another one, okay? So if you take a look at the number 4 and the number 5, and this is how the resource was in the book from which I obtained it for, basically the number 5, sorry, is the same question, but in the version of supposedly a woman loving a guy, right? So we are going to omit that. Like the different combinations are there: guy, girl, boy, girl. Now in modern times, like everybody can love anybody, and that's just fun, right? So we're going to omit that part. we simply are going to say that if a person loves another person, whatever the gender or whatever, right? So in that case, we'll have only four questions to do. Okay. So as I mentioned, this was like a previous exercise. That is why I am not asking that in the assignment you upload these results. No, you're going to use it only as an instrument. Okay. So what is it that you really have to do? Okay. You are going to describe love in one paragraph. Okay. That's it. Basically, you're going to do it in that way. Well, remember that we're managing 5-sentence paragraphs. I think this should be, let's say, enough. If you think that it's necessary, like to write an additional paragraph or maybe to add 2 or 3 more sentences to a single paragraph, you can do it. That's up to you. You can decide if you want to do a long paragraph or 2 short paragraphs. Up to you. But the idea is that you are going to describe love. Okay, so with the somehow the assets or the information that you had, you are going to write a descriptive paragraph, right? Now there are different options. Okay, attention to this. You can describe love itself as a general thing. You can describe the love that you have for another person, real or imaginary. I mean, it's not necessary that you have to be in love in order to write about love. Maybe a past experience or something that you can imagine. It can be, let's say, a description sorry, of how people normally act or do when they deal with love. And, well, different combinations. The important thing is that you used some of the information that you wrote in 1 to 4 in order to write that paragraph. So when I read the paragraph, I must find, for example, the comparisons, yes, of flower, bird, animal. I must find if, according to your opinion, love is really relevant, very important, something that occupies a priority place in your opinion. I must find certain analogies such as fire or disease or paradise or hell, any of those, and the behavior, no, the one if a person loves another person, how does he normally behave? So people normally send gifts, or people try to hide their feelings so they don't get hurt. Well, all these different things. Okay. So easy peasy, or let's say it's the exercise itself is quite simple. I'm not expecting that you take a long time writing this. The preparation is even, let's say, it takes longer, I think, right? Well, as I mentioned, the idea is that you select some of these elements of this chart before, and then you write this descriptive paragraph about love. Remember again to use some of the vocabulary that we have already covered for intangible things. Maybe you can go back to this list that I gave you some days ago, and that may be useful. Do not forget, please, to include the transitional words. That it's really, really important. And I would recommend that you try to use different types of conclusions, right? Like in week 2 or 3, we had an exercise of writing a conclusion, right? Or 2 conclusions. And they had a specific type of conclusion. Remember that we have like 5 types. So try to do it this time differently. If last time you wrote an opinion, this time make a summary. If last time you made a summary, this time write a hope for the future. Well, there are like 5 different types of conclusions that we covered. So it is just a matter of selecting one of those, and that's it. And hopefully we have a really good, complete and conscious paragraph about an intangible thing such as love. So I think that's clear enough. So that will be the assignment number 1 for this week. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video, in which I'm going to explain what we have to do on the practice exercise number 2 for this week number 6. Thanks a lot. Bye bye, and hugs.